Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Morgan You Know podcast, a conversation show about sports that happen to be in season. And as one of our co-hosts loves to mention, not necessarily every sport in season. We'll get to him soon. My name is Rod Morgan. I will be host of the festivities this evening, but I cannot do it alone. I have an executive producer. I have a co-host. I have a confidant. I basically have the glue that holds this whole thing together. Oh, yeah, he's pretty good with sports takes as well. That's Jimmy Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
Say, Rod, let me tell you, it's a very good time to be a Chicago Cubs fan, even if you are muted.
Yes, it is a good time to be a Cubs fan. You guys will catch me up on a little baseball. We're going to get back to Journey to Rodtober, our wonderful baseball segment that is catching on like wildfire out there. The only reason I bring up baseball is to placate my dear friend and the third member of this podcast, our old man and the voice of the fan around these parts. He's Chris King. Chris, hello.
What is up, fellas? And hopefully one of these days, Rod, will get you back into the fold and back into the stands as a Cubs fan. Let's just hope it's sooner rather than later.
That is what Journey to Rodtober is all about. We're going to spend this baseball season trying to point out things that should catch my fancy and see if I am ready to embrace baseball again by October time. But that is for another pod. We are joined by a dear friend of ours. He doesn't know this, but he is now the official Indianapolis correspondent for the podcast because our guy Jimmy Jamriska vacated the Hoosier State and went down to Kentucky. So our guy, who's a Colts season ticket holder, he's a Pacers season ticket holder, and he's just an all-around great guy. We love having him here. He's Dax Thorne. Dax, what's up, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's good to see you guys. Hear you guys.
Indianapolis Bureau will be on point this weekend. Jimmy, do I have that date right? Is the lottery this weekend, or is it coming up sometime this week?
No, it's on Sunday for the first time in forever. Sunday, it's in between both of the games. So a little something different this year, and it's going to be an exciting time for sure.
Well, we're going to talk to Dax a little bit about that. We're going to check in on the playoffs. Not much happened really that I'm concerned about in the NBA, so I really want to focus more on wrestling and a few other things. Chris is shaking his head right now. If you're watching us, by the way, live on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, we appreciate you. If you're listening later on whatever podcast platform you prefer, we dig that too. Just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, give us a comment. Talk to us on our social media channels. Jimmy, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, right? They can get us all those places.
We're on Threads. We're everywhere. And a lot of people do like to mention the NBA, especially this week, Rod, for you.
And Rod, I also accept carrier pigeon now, so we're good there.
Okay, excellent. Well, the other thing I wanted to bring up here while I brought up the socials is Jimmy alerted me we are rolling up on episode 600 around these parts. And Jimmy and I think it would be awfully cool if we could rustle up a couple of actual emails. All right. We know we have some listeners out there. We're getting big on the threads and the reels and the TikToks. Maybe you're going to catch this as a reel. Hit us an email. Give us a question. We'll give you a shout out when we read the question. We could send you a Morgan You Know sticker. Jimmy, we even have bracelets we could send to people if they embrace this and actually send us questions. What is the email address they should send it to, Jimmy?
It's the Morgan You Know. That's TheMorgan, the letter U, know at gmail.com. The Morgan, the letter U, know at gmail.com.
There you go. Drop us a line. I would recommend don't ask how old Chris actually is. He won't tell any of us. And he's actually so old that he has forgotten. So that one should be off the table. That one's not going to be there. But give us a question. We'll get to it on episode 600. Jimmy and I have a couple of other things planned. But cold open question of the week is as follows. We've all lived here in Indiana for a while. We've all driven. We know the Hoosier State is pretty flat. We've all done some country road driving. My question to all three of you gentlemen here is, you're rolling up to a four-way stop sign in the middle of country in the middle of the day, and it is flatland, and you can see that there is no car anywhere in sight other than you. Have you ever considered, boom, blowing right through that stop sign? Chris, I'm going to start with you because you're the most lawless member of this podcast.
I have thought about it. I have done it.
That's my boy.
Many times. And it really, listen, you can see for miles, all right? So you're not going to be seen. You can tell maybe there's somebody on a tractor a couple miles away, but they're not going to catch up to you. So, yeah. No, of course I've done it. We've all done it, especially when I was still in high school, driving like a crazy person all over the place out in the country. Didn't worry about stop signs. And Rod, when I was first driving, there weren't hardly any stop signs out there anyway. It was mostly dirt roads, anyway,
There
gravel.
were no stop signs.
I knew you were going to go there. James Thomas, I'm fairly certain I know the answer to this. I know you pretty well. I'd imagine there's no chance you've ever just driven right through a four-way stop.
No shot in hell, Rod. I'm a rule maker, not a rule breaker. It does say stop, so I will never do that. Now, I got a little dangerous one time, and my wife even made fun of me about it. Going to an early Saturday softball tournament about 5:30 in the morning. There's a stoplight that was close to our house, and, well, I turned left on the red because,
Look at you. Look at you. I like that. I must admit, as many times as I've run afoul of the law or been willing to be a little outside of the rules, I've never done it. I've thought about it many, many times. I've pulled up to a four-way stop out in the middle of the country at like 1:30 in the afternoon and been like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I can't. Now, listen, do I roll through those things? Absolutely. Do I give like a brief pause that like couldn't even be considered a stop? Yes. But driving completely through it, I've never done it. Dak Storm, our guest. I'm outing you here with this question, but have you ever done it?
Not that I recall.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Dax is smarter than all the rest of us.
Listen, all you have to do is make sure you're not doing it in the middle of growing season, all right? When the corn's up, you can't see down those roads. So you got to wait until after the harvest has come down, like late October, early November. Everything's flat, gray. There's no vegetation. That's the time you can do it.
That just came up because I was driving out in Middlebury the other day doing my day job delivering flowers to the good people of Elkhart and Goshen, Indiana. And I was rolling up to a four-way stop. It was a good ways ahead of me, and I could see a guy was coming the same direction I was. I guess he noticed that I wasn't turning, and this guy just flat blew right through the stop sign in front of me, right? Like I could tell, like it wasn't that he just didn't see it was there. He sped up so that he could get through the stop sign quicker and make sure that nobody was coming around. And I was just like, man, the balls of that guy. And then that's what got me to thinking about it. I couldn't do it. Somebody else that certainly did not stop at a stop sign was Golden Tempo, the long shot winner of the 100 in Kentucky Derby on Saturday. I enjoyed the weekend coverage from NBC. They are really spending quite a bit of money on their Derby coverage. You can tell they got cameras everywhere. They're paying for many different broadcasters to be out there. And they even got the Derby to bump start times later. The Oaks, the Friday night race for the fillies, was under the lights. The Derby was a little bit later than it normally comes around. Jimmy, did you like that it ran a little later in the day?
It was fine. Yeah, I was able to actually watch the whole thing, and it was really funny because it's like, hey, I want to watch this. Well, how long is it going to take, Dad? Literally 3 minutes. It's at 57. It's over by the top of the hour. Calm down.
And I also appreciate Larry Kalmus, who is the man who calls the actual Kentucky Derby race. Chris, you and I are amateur podcasters around these parts. We talk about broadcasters from time to time. It's got to be almost impossible to be able to call a horse race, to be able to see those numbers all bunched together and to figure out who's on the inside and who's on the outside. Shout out to that guy.
Right, and shout out to the numerous other racehorse callers out there at tracks all over the country, right? Because I can't do it, Rod. That you got, not only are you really looking at the numbers, you're looking at the colors on those blankets on those horses. That's how you really tell. And those guys are calling 7-8 races a day when they have races, all right? So that's constantly changing as you go out through the day. These guys have some of the greatest short-term memory I have ever seen.
They most certainly do. And Daxter, I know you're a bit of a horseman. I know you had some bets down there. The race itself was interesting, right? We kind of had a long shot who kind of started out hot and was running the pace, and everybody was kind of like, well, this horse is going to fall off. And it didn't start falling off until we got to the 3/4 pole. Then we had a whole bunch of the favorites start to move up to the front. So it looked like everybody's exacta boxes were going to pay off. And then Daxter, we had the first ever horse trained by a lady win the Kentucky Derby. What'd you think of the race?
I thought it was fantastic. I love Derby weekend every year. Yeah, my wife won some money on it. She put some money for Sherry for sure on her horse, and so that was cool to see that. But yeah, I mean, it was a classic Derby. I mean, that's horse racing though. I mean, you always the favorites. If you watch enough horse racing, you'll be like, oh well, this 14-1 has actually got a shot coming around the last turn, and then it's oh well, no, here come the favorites to catch up, and but with so many horses out there, it was so cool to see just that mob come through, and it's just It's the most exciting sport, 2 minutes in sports for sure. So yeah, love it every year. One of my favorite holidays.
The last thing I want to mention, Jimmy, is drone cameras have done an awful lot for the Kentucky Derby. Did you see that shot that they were to get of the drone behind all of the horses that really showed that lane that opened up for Golden Tempo as it came around the outside there? That jockey, I've lost his name, and I'll have to look it up here to give him credit, but like he showed an awful lot of restraint there, holding that horse back, and then finally going when it opened. That drain shot was amazing.
I did love those drone shots, and really it does put you in the perspective of the jockey, because it's so hard to do that. And but also, how about that horse that got scratched like at the very last second?
Yeah.
The look on the jockey's face was, "Are you kidding me? All this hard work." We were literally like 3 seconds away, and then all of a sudden, the horse just decides to buck and fall over.
Jose Ortiz was the jockey of the winter. Shout out to Jose Ortiz. And one thing I want to mention that I was a little disappointed in, I was like, oh no, let's not see the celebrity-ification of the Kentucky Derby. I didn't need to see Bobby Flay as the owner of a horse down there walking before the race. I certainly didn't need to see Dave Portnoy down there walking as an owner of a horse, but that might just have to do with my Barstool bias right there. So I'll let that go. We are doing something on the Morganino podcast where we are trying to bring me back to baseball. We have labeled it Journey to Rodtober, and my guy Chris and Jimmy will try to give me interesting things about baseball to see if I care about them. Chris, you'll lead us off.
So real quick, Jimmy, do you want me to leave some of the Cubs glazing to you? Or
no, you go ahead. I've got a couple other things. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, Rod, you know what's great about the Cubs when they are winning is when they are winning at home, and we are on a 13-game home winning streak right now. And it is some exciting baseball. Last night we came back from behind, beat the Reds in extra innings. The night before we came from behind and beat the Reds. All right. The Cubs are in first place of the most competitive division in baseball right now. All right. Everybody in the NL Central is over 500. It is a crazy competitive division, and the Cubs are on top of it. And this is with Steele on the IL. This is with 9 pitchers on the injured list right now. So we have 6 relievers that will be coming back to bolster our bullpen. This is one of the top 4 teams in baseball.
Do they still play Steve Goodman's Go Cubs Go after every victory? Does that still happen?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Good to see tradition hasn't gone away. Well, hey, that's good. Home winning streak. Cubs winning at home. That's good. My favorite NBA basketball team had a little bit of trouble winning at home, so winning at home tends to be important. Jimmy, you got your Cubs hat on. Your Cubs are rolling. That has me somewhat excited. I don't wish ill upon the Cubs. I certainly have lost the place in my heart that the Cubs used to hold, but I don't wish ill upon them.
They've got a really solid infield. Their defense is fantastic. Their pitching has been very good, even though, like Chris said, there was a lot of injuries. And they're hitting. They're doing everything right now that they need to win. And now is the time in June, July to really go get a couple people that'll help them out even more. But, Rod, you haven't watched baseball for a couple years, so I wanted to bring you back to someone you might remember. Mike Trout, if you remember, was one of the best baseball players in the world, if not the best, when you were watching him. Well, guess what? Mr. Trout is back. He is healthy. 11 home runs, 23 RBI. The Angels are still angeling. Don't get me wrong. They're in like 4th place. No, they're like 15 and 23.
Good to know things haven't changed.
Mike Trout is having a great year so far, and it's really nice to see because every time he's been healthy, he's been good. It's just he has not been healthy in the past 3 or 4 years. And now I am saying it is time. Michael Trout, go to the Angels and say, I want to win. You need to trade me some. And someone will give them something for him. It has to happen.
Little baseball hot stove. Now you're piquing my interest here, Mike Trout. But see, the thing that would stink, Dax, like, how much baseball are you watching? Let me start there, Dexter. Are you checking in on some baseball, or are you like me, where it's kind of on the periphery?
Yeah, it's kind of on the peripheral, unfortunately. I've been trying to pay attention a little bit to the Indianapolis Indians, but that's just looking at random things in the Indy Star. So, yeah, I am no.
That's good. See, that's why he's our Indianapolis bureau chief, folks, right there. He's keeping up on AAA baseball, man. That's why he has that job. So I'd love to see it. Jimmy, isn't there a bunch of old pitchers still around? You're telling me Trout was still doing it. Isn't like Scherzer still out there going for somebody?
That's interesting you bring that up. I believe he had some elbow issues when he was trying to come back here today, actually. So good job with that. But speaking of pitching, though, Rod, again, WWE and MLB, you got to love it. Framber Valdez for Detroit. A couple of Red Sox hit some home runs off of him, and they kind of milked it a little bit. And he said, well, guess what? I'm going to hit Trevor Story in the back as hard as I can. And the bench is cleared. The Red Sox are having an unbelievably crappy year. They fired their manager last week. And Framber Valdez got 5-game suspension. Pretty big for hitting somebody after those home runs. So, again, you never know what you're going to find out in baseball, Rod. You got to watch that.
Where are we putting, what did you say this guy's name was? Framber Barjosa? What did you say his name was?
Framber Valdez.
Framber Valdez. Where do we put him on the Kyle Farnsworth scale of crazy relief pitchers ready to go at it when somebody charges the mound?
Well, he's a starter, but honestly, he might be up there. He's never been one of my favorites. He was on Houston for a number of years. He might be up there, Chris. I don't know. He might be top 5 there.
What's worse is the BS suspension. 5 games for a starting pitcher is essentially just one start. He's going to miss one start, and that's it. All right, and all that really means is he's getting an extra day rest. So I think that's kind of a BS thing anyway. If you want to talk about pitching, let's talk about the best player in baseball history. All right, let's talk about the guy who just a couple years ago became the first player ever to hit 50 home runs and steal over 50 bases. And now this year, he is back on the mound. He has only allowed 4 earned runs in 6 games. He has 6 quality starts. His ERA is .97. This guy continues to do unimaginable things that we've seen on the baseball field, Rod, and that's why you need to start watching Shohei Ohtani.
No, listen, you've been bringing up Shohei for years, and that hasn't done it for me, Chris. So we're gonna have to keep bringing up other things because clearly Shohei is not enough for me. But what you guys did do for me right now is you made me excited about a memory I had of Carlos Zambrano, who I believe it was a Cubs White Sox brawl that was getting ready to pop off, and Carlos took off his belt. All right, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody else take off their belt and get ready to have a weapon to deal out punishment. Shout out to Big Z, who I think also missed the start because he had too much coffee. Just so many great Carlos Zambrano memories over the years. I will always be a Cub fan. I'm just not actively watching them at the moment. That's all I have for the beginning portion of the podcast. We've got lots of NBA and wrestling to take over, and Jimmy Jamriska is going to lead us there.
Well, it's the fast break. It's the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. And, Rob, we got to start with your Celtics. You know, a lot of people. Yes, we do. We 100% do, because when you live by the 3, you die by the 3. And they did not need, at the end of that game, to shoot all those threes. They needed somebody to make a basket, like a Julius Randle did against the Spurs. I love that, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Jaylen Brown couldn't do it. Rod, your emotions have to be all over the place because you were thinking, hey, it's not going to be the best season. We're not going to give up, but it's not going to be a great season. Oh, then now we can win the championship. And then your boy gets hurt. Talk to me.
I'm not necessarily sure that I ever thought we could win the championship. We may want to check the tape on that and see if I thought the Celtics were going to run all the way to a championship. But I certainly did get above the level that I started the year at when I started seeing some of the role players overachieve. And when Jason Tatum came back and wasn't showing a whole lot of signs of rust. And when Joe Mazzulla was showing the ability to change a little bit and bring a different style of offense to the Celtics. I was excited about all of those things. But Jimmy, where I'm left at now, a couple of days after the Game 7 loss on Sunday, is I'm not really that surprised. I kind of knew that the best player for the Celtics was Jason Tatum and not Jaylen Brown, right? So Jason Tatum's not playing in Game 7, and the Celtics have a little bit of trouble with Jaylen Brown finishing. Like, I kind of knew that the regular season is different than the playoffs, right? So Joe Mazzulla keeping offensive rebounding and turnovers and three-point shooting at a maximum to win games is going to work out over a span of 82, but it doesn't necessarily work out in a 7-game series. And I'm disappointed. I certainly thought the Celtics were going to be the better team than Philadelphia in this first round, but I got to admit, I'm not surprised to see that Jaylen Brown wasn't good enough to take a team over the top. And I'm also not surprised to see Joe Mazzulla be a little too stubborn to make adjustments within the series.
Chris, talk to me a little bit about what your thoughts were during that series. And do you think that was a one and done for the Sixers, or do you think they have a chance here against the Knicks? They're basically tied right now in Game 2.
Let me start off by saying I have no faith in any team that's coming out of the East. All right.
Well,
I think they're all pretty interchangeable right now. I don't have, it's hard for me to have skin in any game, right? I don't necessarily care. I think the Knicks will beat the Sixers, and I think that Cleveland will probably end up beating Detroit, but I don't think it matters. I really don't. I
Jimmy,
think it'll
do
be
me a
hard
favor.
fought basketball, though.
Erase everything that Chris just said from existence because I am efforting trying to get Father Pete back on this podcast, and he is really not going to be excited about anything that Chris just said right there.
No, he won't. He won't. But I will say this, and I said this in the text thread, our secret offline text thread, that I won't take anything away from anything Boston accomplished this year because they lost their best player by far to a season-long injury, and their season was essentially going to be, okay, let's hold it together for this year until we can get Tatum back next year. They didn't tank, though. They kept fighting. They kept playing. They didn't give up, all right? They didn't win.
Always goes back to tanking.
They didn't win just 15 games because their best player got hurt, all right? They still went out and they tried to make their team better. They were aggressive during the trade deadline, all right? I got to give Boston all the credit in the world. Ooh, I made Jimmy mad.
Yeah, we lost James Thomas there for a second. But Daxter, I kind of feel like Chris was taking shots at your team right there. Do you feel like you need to respond?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, yeah, the Pacers are injured all year, new lineups, trying out different guys. That's just the way the dice roll.
Chris, always tanking with you. Jimmy Jam, are we squared away over there?
I think we are. Give me 1 second here. What I want to talk about, though, Rod, is this Timberwolves Spurs game 1. And now we're every other day. So when we record this, there's going to be games going on. That's fine. We're not going to know the outcome of game 2. But that game 1, you need to talk about Wembanyama. But like I said earlier, Julius Randle stepped up for Ant Edwards because he was on a minutes restriction. That is what you need in the playoffs. A guy who's not afraid to go down low and get some points, Rod.
Old man strength definitely plays off in the playoffs. Excuse me, I almost botched that there. But the game slows down a little bit. That certainly helps Julius Randle. It becomes a bit more of a half-court game. That certainly helps Julius Randle. And you can get away with a little more physicality in the playoffs. That also helps Julius Randle. So you put those three things together with a team that's been in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. We all forget about it, right? We do. We're just as guilty as anybody else talking about OKC and San Antonio all year long because of how good they looked. But Minnesota has the track record, and they have enough talent to sneak out the win versus San Antonio. They do, right? San Antonio, top to bottom, might be a better team, but Ant is good, and those rest of those guys know what they're doing, and San Antonio might just be a little too young. So I loved that first game. It was awesome.
Hey, Chris, talk to me about Wembanyama. What were your thoughts on him?
All right, so Wemby, you need to hear this, all right? For one, I know you just lost. I know it's a playoff game. You're supposed to be a superstar. You need better answers after the game. We all understand if you all do things different things will happen. But you're 7-5. You start off the game 0 for 5 from threes. Okay, let's stop taking threes. Let's get down low. You were already being real dominant on the defensive end. Yeah, maybe some of those were probably goaltending, whatever. You still got your blocks. You were still altering the game on defense. Stop shooting the threes. This is not what your team needed. You're supposed to be the superstar. You need to be leading. You need to make better decisions. I was a bit disappointed. And this is his first probably real playoff test going up against a guy like Rudy Gobert, a guy that's going to be physical, that they allow to be physical in the playoffs. We saw he was able to do versus Jokic in the first round, and he's going to do it against Wemby. It's going to be hard for Wemby to get points because Rudy Gobert is elite defensively.
Dax, when you're watching this series, do you get the feeling that the Timberwolves and Ant Edwards just take it up another level? And do you think they're going to win it, or do you think the Spurs are going to win?
I think their team has been solid for the last couple of years. I'm not really too surprised to see them come out, with a fistful of fury against San Antonio. San Antonio is great, but I think they're too young. I think Minnesota is going to beat them. I think eventually OKC is going to go over. Unfortunately, it'll be OKC, I think, again, for the Western Conference slot. But San Antonio gave them a run for their money. But I think it'll be the Timberwolves. I think their experience is going to come out and nothing against Wembanyama, but I think he's still young. And I think that, like you mentioned Gobert, being able to push him around and give him a little bit more physical, side of things to frustrate him. And I think that's a big key.
Interesting. Okay. Another game that's going on tonight, Rod, is the Knicks and 76ers. And the 76ers obviously had that big win over the Celtics. That's the last time I'll mention it, I promise. Hey, my Bulls aren't in it and the Pacers aren't in it either. So at least you were there, right? The thing about the 76ers and Joel Embiid is, can Joel Embiid last 4 rounds in the playoffs? And guess what? He didn't last game 1. He is out for game 2, and it shows. I mean, they're tied right now, but Joel Embiid is such a big factor with the 76ers. I think you need him to beat the Knicks, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I think he's definitely the thing that swung the series for the Sixers over the Celtics. I think the Celtics definitely had some things they could have improved and played better, but I think once Joel came, that turned the tide for the Sixers. I like the Knicks in this, like Chris said. I think ultimately the Knicks are going to come out in the East. I think if we go back to our beginning of the year pods, I have to embrace the Knicks that way because I'll be smart. I picked them as my wins league team. I think I picked them to go to the finals and take on OKC. So I'll end up being smart that way. But if I'm being honest, my new rooting interest relies with Detroit basketball. Sorry, Crippler. Love my guy Mark Allen, the Cleveland Crippler, but I'm a Detroit guy. Go Cade Cunningham. Go Jalen Duren. Go Janice Jenkins. And Father Pete's coming on soon. Father Pete's coming on soon, Jimmy. That'll be exciting.
Jenkins is my huge pickup in fantasy basketball to take me to the championship of the losers division, even though it's not really a championship of the losers division, but I still won it, darn it. Chris, let's go to the last game too. Lakers Thunder. Great idea. Awesome season, Lakers. There's no chance.
If Luka's not coming back, I don't think so. Right? I think if LA wins 2 games, that's a major achievement for them. And it's possible they could probably pull 2 out, maybe, right? We get a LeBron Reeves combo game where they are exceptional, maybe, but like they don't have anybody that can guard Shea at all.
Well, no one.
They're not as quick as OKC. They're not as athletic as OKC. So, right? If Luka's there, it's a completely different type of series, but without him, gentleman's sweep, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4. Reeves was pretty rusty this last game. Hopefully he comes back and does well. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Dax took time out of his night to come and join us to talk about the NBA draft lottery on Sunday. And the Pacers made the most interesting of all trades in the world. Where the Pacers, if they're 1 through 4, they're golden. If 3 teams jump them, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 3 teams jump them, they don't have a pick and it goes to the Clippers. Dax, how nervous are you right now?
Not really. I never really cared about the pick, to be honest. I was more interested in Zubats, getting him on the team. I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid. Kevin Pritchard had an interview in the Star pretty much the other day, said the same thing, and I was thinking the same, like, it would be nice to get a top 4 pick. Yeah, let's take it. Like, let's see who we can get, But I think they also have plans with, if they don't get the pick, they still will have that capital, that draft, that cash left, and for free agent, maybe pick up somebody that could fill up that void. And because they're in a win now. They're not, that's why I'm like, we haven't had the best luck with rookies here or drafting in the lottery here recently anyway. Mathurin was fantastic. We'll see what happens with Walker, but I'd rather go win now, right now. Like, I think we got enough guys. We don't need another young guy, but yeah, Sunday we'll go. I've done the draft simulator on the ESPN thing. I don't know how many times, and I always laugh. I wonder if the GMs are sitting up there in their office doing the same thing, just like, oh, dag nabbit, we're like, never getting it right. But yeah, man, it'll be an interesting Mother's Day. I'll be tuning in, as taking a break from the family to see what happens.
So it's interesting that you say you want to win now, because let's say you get the 5th pick in this draft and you didn't make the trade. Rod, I think you could probably get somebody a little better than Zubac for the 5th pick in the draft if you wanted to go that way. I don't know, your thoughts on that?
I am not against Zubac. I was all for my Celtics getting a hold of Zubac. If the Clippers were intent on trading him out of town, I wanted the Celtics to be in on it. Dax is absolutely right. That pick that the Pacers dangled in front of the Clippers and allowed them to maybe get a piece of it is how they were able to get Zubac. That's great for their team. But I got to disagree with my guy a little bit here. He is absolutely right that the Pacers are ready to win now. I'm not advocating a 2 timelines type situation here because we know that didn't win for the Warriors, but I'm a little bit worried about who the Pacers number 2 is. Pascal Siakam. Okay. I think he's got a year 2 left in him, but wouldn't you love to have another guy who's ready to step right into the number 2 slot when he ages out a little bit. And I think that is what this top 4 pick might be able to provide for the Pacers. So I am hopeful that they land somewhere in the top 4 and get one of those guys. Wilson, DeBanza, Boozer, you know the names.
Chris, that's interesting because if you are a Pacers fan, which last time I checked, you are a Pacers fan, how awesome would it be for you to say that Pascal Siakam is your 4th option in like 3 years?
That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Let's not be be sugarcoated. That's a good problem to have,
yeah.
right? So yeah, but we're not there yet. All right. Listen, Pacers, I'm kind of with Dax. I don't really care about the draft pick, right? I wanted us to compete. I wanted us to do. I'm sorry.
That's
you
insane.
know how I stand.
Well, no,
insane
that's
for both of you to
fine.
say.
But you have the draft pick. You have the draft pick.
That's insane. The Pacers made their fans sit through that year, and you're going to not say you don't care about the draft pick? Come on, the draft pick is the payoff. Zubac isn't enough. The Pacers barely played him. The draft pick is the payoff. You, Dax, you sat through how many terrible games? Don't you want the payoff to be the shiny new toy?
Well, yes,
No.
I did. Like, obviously, I didn't say I did not want the draft pick, but I think there's also options that they don't get. A young guy who they also have to develop, and in the league, if we can go after a veteran, and also, we've got some cap space. Why not take somebody who can step in and be that number 2, 2.5?
You want Jaylen Brown
guy?
You want Jaylen Brown? I'll take your top 4 pick.
Why not?
You want Jaylen Brown?
I would.
Can we afford Jaylen Brown? He gets money.
Give me Jaylen Brown and Shepherd. Give me Jaylen Brown and Shepherd, and he's yours.
So I think that the Pacers are in such an interesting position because the top picks, we have a couple forwards and a center, but then it's all point guards after that as well. So if the Pacers do get the 4th pick, they might be in a situation where they have to choose between Darren Peterson, Darius Acuff, Rod's boy, or Keaton Wagner. Maybe they trade back a little bit and try to get something else too, because they don't necessarily need a point guard.
We should be hoping for the number 1 pick in the Pacers to get DeBanza. That's what we
Yes.
should all be hoping for. We want, you want your cake and eat it too. You want Zubac, you want Halliburton coming back, and you want DeBanza as the new wing. That's what you want. And then you want Nembhard, and you want my guy McConnell, and you want the other try-hard Pacers with the good coach, Rick Carlisle. But you want the generational superstar. That's what everybody in Indianapolis should be hoping for. They should get their voodoo dolls out. They should get their candles. They should get whatever good luck charms they believe in. There should be a rally in the middle, the Circle City. Dax, you don't live far from there. We should be burning jerseys of the other teams, whatever it takes. The Pacers want the number 1 pick. I can't believe I'm the only one screaming this.
Well, they want the number 1 pick. That AJ DeBanza would be amazing to have on that team. And he's kind of becoming the consensus number 1. Although I'm hearing so much about Caleb Wilson, it's scaring me a little bit that he's going to go.
We are the Pacers. We are not getting the number 1 pick. I don't know what you guys have been smoking lately, but that doesn't happen
what are you
to
talking
the
about?
Pacers.
Dallas
does it,
got
Dax?
the number 1 pick last year. Dallas got the number 1 pick last year.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's Dallas. That's not Indianapolis. Indianapolis does not get these types of options. All right. So I'm not going to get excited for something that's not going to happen.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. If you're scared by a dog, Chris, don't be scared.
That's insane. That's awesome. All right. That's going to do it for the fast break. We're going to hit the Yeah We Know section of the podcast. We're talking WWE. And a couple big stories. Actually, Rod, I did some research. Johnny Gargano, it was his dog that passed away. It was his dog that passed away from that. He had a huge Twitter.
It was a pet. I wasn't going to correct you, but I thought it was a pet.
No, because I read it again. I'm like, wait a minute. No, it is a pet, and that stinks when someone that you've been with for a long time passes away like that. And shout out to him. It's a tough time in WWE right now. A lot of people are being asked to take pay cuts. The New Day was asked to take a pay cut. They are now out of the WWE. In 90 days, they can go wherever they want. Austin Creed is back instead of Xavier Woods. Kofi his name is Kofi, so he'll still be Kofi. I don't think it's going to be Kingston. I don't believe that's his last name. I think that was the Jamaican thing. But Rod, New Day leaving is so bittersweet because I was around when they had these 3 guys that weren't going anywhere, and they put them together and they did the church gimmick with the light blue and the white attire, and people hated them. New Day Sucks was not ironic and was not heat. It was go away heat. They absolutely hated them. And they worked on the characters, worked and worked and worked. They became the number one tag team in WWE, which isn't saying much, but they also, Rod, became probably the number one act in WWE, which is saying something for years. And they did such a great job with that. Big E gets hurt. They turn him heel, and they just haven't done anything with them. You know, it sucks that for someone who's been on the ride with them, but also it opens up opportunities, Rob.
Yeah, Jimmy, you always tend to put the positive spin on this because you have a little more of a connection to the indies. You have a little more connection with these guys when they arrive in WWE sometimes. But I want to just focus on the TKO part of this here, man. Like, this is just more TKO garbage. I mean, this is a corporation that made something like $30 million profit last year, and then you're telling me you still got to cut these guys
400, I think, Rod.
Yeah, either way, all right. I mean, we're making money hand over fist, and these guys got to get cut. Other guys got to get pay cuts, and like I understand corporations run that way. I'm certainly not a business titan, never will be. But if you had somebody running the business that wasn't just considerate of the bottom line at all times, they would have said to themselves, "You know what, guys? Sure, we could save a couple pennies here if we make the New Day take less of a contract. Sure, we could save even more money if they completely walk away." But you know what we probably shouldn't do, because we still try to make a big deal out of what we call the WWE Hall of Fame? Maybe we shouldn't just run off one of the greatest tag teams in the history of our sport in the dark of the night without any kind of a send-off. Maybe we shouldn't do that. And they won't, because all they think about is money, and it's unfortunate.
Speaking of money, Chris, you love money. I know that. TKO for the first quarter of 2026, they just had this today. Revenue of $1.5 billion and a net income of $249.8 million. Nice chunk of change, Chris.
The sole responsibility of any corporation is to maximize profits for its shareholders. TKO is no different.
All right, Chris, thank you. Dax, what are your thoughts on the New Day leaving?
Yeah, I'm kind of just kind of getting up to everything. I kind of was listening to, was it Sirius XM has a pro wrestling podcast on there, a live show, and I was kind of listening to it a little bit. I was kind of surprised by everything. I mean, but like Chris said, this is the business, and I guess that's how they run it. But I was, it's unfortunate, that it does come down to that, where they're starting to, are they going to do that with Roman Reigns? I mean, like, who else are going to start taking money away from, like, hey, you got to take a pay cut. You got to take a pay cut. Yeah. I mean, it's the WWE. It's supposed to be the top league, major league. And it's like it's treating their guys like minors.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy, because this is the only thing that I could think of. Because I am really with you all. I was kind of surprised. But I have been noticing lately, people who don't sell merchandise are the first ones to get talked to. Was New Day merchandise going downhill as far as being moved?
I'm sure. I mean, they haven't been used as much, and they're heels right now, so I'm sure that it was very far down, but they were one of the big ones to start with. Yeah, I mean, okay, so this happens a lot, okay? This isn't a TKO thing. Now, I will say that the asking people to take huge pay cuts, I think, is newer. I'm not sure how much that happened in the past. The tag team division is dying. You're right, Mark. It's because they have two different title belts, and no one cares about either one of them, even though Logan Paul is very, very excited about his championship. But yeah, Chris, they're not as relevant as they were, and it's not because of them. It's just because they haven't been written in the storylines.
Yeah, which is sad. And Mark Crippler, you're right. I think I've been a big voice against what I've seen on the tag division. Hell, one year I didn't even have a winner for best tag team for the Yeah We Know We. So I am happy that the Street Profits are coming back. All right. Give me more Montez Ford, that's for sure.
The Street Profits are back. And speaking of back, we have Backlash coming up this week. And Rod, you've got a pretty hot take on Backlash. Talk to me.
This is a much better card than WrestleMania. Full stop. It just is. It's a much better card than WrestleMania. We're going to get better matches, and we have better storylines that are not necessarily haphazardly thrown together, and then even worse, injected with the stupid celebrity thing. Sure, Little Yachty apparently is going to be Trick Williams' full-time manager, even though we already had an appearance of Trick Williams without Little Yachty. But I guess in storyline, he was beaten up by the gingerbread man. How ridiculous is what I just said, but that's going on in the WWE. So I am excited, Jimmy. We got Breaker. We got Rollins. We got El Grande Americano. versus other, or wait, no, that's not actually
No,
happening at
that's on
Backlash, is it?
AAA. Yeah.
That's in AAA.
Yeah.
See, I get that mixed up. I think they should have had that at Backlash. But either way, I am looking forward to more matches at this Backlash thrown together Tampa knockoff pay-per-view than I was for the granddaddy of them all.
And it also is going to have another 2 matches on ESPN again, which is very interesting that they're going that route with it. I don't understand why they just didn't. I mean, I know why, because the app, they want people to pay for the app, right? But if you really want people to watch, you put the whole thing on ESPN, which I think is probably going to happen with WrestleMania one day. Let's talk about the card, though, real quick. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, like you talked about. Io Sky versus Asuka, which we'll talk about here in detail here in a second. Danhausen and a mystery opponent versus Kit Wilson and The Miz. And Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Let's get right into it. Danhausen and a mystery opponent versus Kit Wilson and The Miz. Rod, who do you think the mystery opponent could be, and who's going to win?
I mean, Danhausen clearly is going to win with whoever his mystery opponent is. And the question here is, are we pulling somebody out for a humorous pop and like a one-time, oh my God, I can't believe this person teamed with Danhausen? Or are we pulling somebody out of the back that's currently doesn't have much going on? I'm not sure that I know the answer to that question. So I am going to make the guess of Danhausen's tag team partner is L.A. Knight. Yeah.
I hope so. That would be nice. That's not who I'm going to guess, but I like that a lot. Chris, who you got?
Two would like that, but if I could see LA Knight teaming up with your boy Joe Henry before Danhausen, because he doesn't like Logan Paul already. So I don't think it'll be LA Knight. I think it's going to be somebody that they pull out of retirement who maybe just announced that they were going to be at Backlash, and I think they're going to show up and they're going to be Danhausen's partner, and that's John Cena.
No chance. No chance Cena gets in the ring for Backlash. He's coming to Backlash to talk about
He may
that
not
stupid
have
thing.
to get into the ring for Danhausen to win. He has cursed those guys already numerous times. They can't win. So I don't think Cena even has to get in the ring. He'll just be standing there, and everyone will think it's going to be crazy.
Right here behind me, but I do not want to see John Cena in that match. John Cena's retired. He's only coming out to talk about that stupid thing the WWE wants you to pay for to get exclusive VIP access, whatever.
That you can pay more for. John Cena breaking his I'm literally never coming back retirement for a Backlash tag match with Danhausen would be the funniest thing ever, and it's never going to happen. But Chris, I appreciate you on that one. Dax, who you got? Who's going to be the mystery partner?
I was kind of thinking John Cena too, and
Okay.
yeah. I'm sorry if you keep seeing me look off camera. My daughter is up, and she wanted to hear the WWE. Let's talk about the WWE. She's a big Danhausen fan. She also thinks it will be John Cena.
Okay.
Heck, why not? Why not do something even more ridiculous? Let's. What's McAfee doing? Is he healed yet? Let's throw him out there. I know we don't want to see that, but
I think his wife is good on that one. When your wife tweets out, "My husband is officially retired from wrestling," you know it was a sore subject at the dinner table whenever they were able to have dinner together because he's so busy. I would love for Royce Keys to get the Danhausen push or the bump. I'd love that just because it would highlight him. I don't think it's going to be him. I think Obafemi would be fun because people would go apeshit over it, and Danhausen wouldn't have to get in the ring. But if we want to go funny and we want to go something that we've kind of seen before, it's going to be Mr. Iguana. I think Mr. Iguana from AAA will come out, and he and Danhausen will take care of Kit Wilson in the Miz in this matchup. Yes.
Eska, Jimmy?
I got Rod excited.
What are we doing?
I love when Rod gets excited. What gets me
Does
excited?
Can Danhausen like bring out, like, can he have something like tucked away in his little Danhausen mobile that he pulls out like a bat or something?
How about Army of Littlehausens?
We've already seen that.
how about a demon?
What about Bighausens?
Bighausens. There we go.
Bighausens.
All right, in one of the best backstage segments we've had in a while, and we've had some good ones. Asuka and Io Sky. Let me tell you, Asuka's awesome. She's always been one of my favorites. She gives terrific promos, even though you don't understand what she's saying, unless you know Japanese, of course. But
Chris,
Asuka and
translate
Io Sky-
for us, please.
Yes. Asuka and Io Sky is going to tear the house down if they're given time, and there's not 5 hours worth of commercials in this premium live event. I have Io Sky winning because Kairi Sane comes back and costs Asuka the match. Chris, who you got?
I mean, I am an EO fan as much, and I'm an Asuka fan because when I first came back, like Asuka was just coming in, she was a phenomenal striker. I love her character. spit all the blue and green acid at people all day long, I'm here for it, but I'm still going to root for Io in this match, so I think she's going to win. Can Kairi Sane come back? I thought she was released.
So was R-Truth.
She was, but it's a 90-day no complete. She compete. She gets paid for 90 days. So if they say you need
so
to
they
come
can
back,
use her.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It may be wishful thinking, but I still think Io Sky is going to win. Dax, who you got, buddy?
No, Io Sky. That's 2 votes right now. Io Sky for both of us. She's fun to watch. Asuka's awesome, for all the reasons, and I like her as a heel, But I'm rooting for Io on this one.
All right, Rod, who you got, buddy?
So, Jimmy, let me get this straight. You said Kairi Sane is going to come back and help Io Sky win the match.
Yes.
So Io Sky needs help to beat Asuka. Io Sky doesn't notice Asuka reach down and grab a vat of blue acid, drink it to spit it in her face. And Io Sky continues running down to the ring looking like Rhea Ripley's little sister. Congratulations on the Io Sky character that all of you have created and love to root for and hope wins matches, because she seems like a complete washout punk to me after absolutely annihilating the floor with every other female wrestler in the WWE for the last calendar year. And then for some reason, we just decided, you know what would be cool is if we took all of that work we just did with Io Sky and absolutely chipped away at it with every single decision we make with her. You guys keep pushing Io Sky because I'm watching what really is there. They're making her look like a fool constantly.
Okay, so Chris, this is the point where both of us kind of roll our eyes a little bit, and Dax, you're in this. But really, though, I'm not going to lie. Rod's kind of right, Chris, and I hate saying that, but when he's right, he's right. This is not good.
We can't have characters in we can't have characters in the WWE that dominate everybody forever. We just don't. We have had a few that seemed like it, like Brock was always a big bad, but like he always comes back and gets beat, right? He loses way more than he wins. All right. Io to continue to do that year after year after year is ridiculous.
Did I speak about her losses? Chris, did I say anything about her losses? I spoke about the choices they're having her make. I didn't even say losses she can lose. My guy Sami Zayn loses all the time.
Yeah, Sammy's no fun to watch anymore. But Io is, and I don't think I'm reading that much into it. I don't think people are paying that much attention to those little things like you are. I think they do the same thing with every other wrestler. They have done that with Rollins. I've seen that happen with him. All right. We've seen that with Sami Zayn. We have seen that with a lot of other different people. I don't think it's any different.
So, yeah, Chris, it's how it's the cliff that she just jumped off of is what Rod is saying. Like, she was awesome, and then all of a sudden became a flunky, and all of a sudden couldn't do it. Now she's just kind of lost, and I really, really don't like that at all. I'm with Rod on that, and I know Dax is on the same page with that, too. Something that we are liking, though, is Sami Zayn and the Gingerbread Man, right? I mean, that was something. Kill a gingerbread man, I guess. Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. They could have the match of the night if they're given time. I don't think they're going to give it a lot of time. Dax, who you got winning, Trick or Sammy?
I don't know. It seems like a perfect something else is going to happen. Gingerbread man is not dead or something, But I think I'll take Trick on this one.
I think you're right. I think Gingerbread Man comes back and destroys Sami Zayn, and something happens that I also.
How awesome was that segment where Trick Williams is standing there talking to Jackie Redmond, I believe, and then the guy pokes his head out and he just does the throat slash, letting everybody know that Gingerbread Man is no more. That was incredible.
Rod, who you got, Trick or Sammy?
I got Sammy here. I don't see any reason why Trick Williams immediately beating Sami Zayn a couple of weeks later for the United States title does anything for anybody. I think Trick Williams is on a friggin' rocket ship, and the fastest way to put him on that rocket ship is to get the stupid U.S. title off of him. And the easiest way to get the stupid U.S. title off of him is to give it back to Sami Zayn.
I don't know about that. Chris, thoughts?
I think the Muffin Man can perform miracles, and we'll see the Gingerbread Man come back. I like that, and I think Trick Williams also comes out ahead. I don't think there's any scenario where I see Sami Zayn winning this title back.
Crippler's onto something there, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think I was going to say it, but I didn't get a chance to. Yes, I think Mello might be the person that we that we see underneath the gingerbread man, although Melo's a lot shorter than the gingerbread man
He
was.
is.
So that'll be kind of funny for sure.
Get him some stilts.
Will Zilla Fatu join the OG bloodline with Roman Reigns? Okay, hey, so I wasn't going to go to this next. Rod, you got to remind me to hit Breaker and Rollins, okay? Because it's not in order
No,
here.
we don't have to talk about how Seth's going to get the floor wiped with him and he's got to put Braun over. We don't got to talk about that either.
Isaiah Bird, thank you very much for the question. Yeah, they've gotten rid of some. They got rid of the MFTs, all of them. They're gone. So, do we bring in another member of the bloodline? I think it's a little early for that, especially since you just got rid of some of them. But this championship match between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, they have done everything in their power to show us that Jacob Fatu can win this title. They've taken Roman Reigns off of all of June. They have given Fatu the upper hand on every single confrontation they've had, essentially. They had him do the Tongan death grip, Rod, which is the most devastating move in the history of wrestling that Haku used to win a tag team championship, and his partner was Andre the Giant. So there's that.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is winning this. Fatu is not. I actually think this is going to be a better match than people think. I've got Roman Reigns winning, Rod.
Absolutely, Roman Reigns is going to win. We're all going to acknowledge Roman Reigns, and he's going to be out for June, and people are going to lose their friggin' minds, and then he's going to come back unexpectedly to lead up to SummerSlam, and it's going to be a huge pop, and it's going to be an incredible match at SummerSlam because that's what Roman Reigns does, okay? But I think we shot the Jacob Fatu bullet a little too early here. I honestly do, right? Like, I get Jacob's point about I need my family. Like, well, you've been in the WWE for a year and a half, dude. Like, why did you wait so long to try to level your family up? Why did you wait till your cousin got the belt back? It's awfully suspicious, man. Like, I'm not against Jacob Fatu, but I don't like people taking shots at the big dog because the big dog is good for business. Jacob Fatu is not good for business. Roman Reigns needs to win this.
I really also think that Fatu probably should have had another win or two after WrestleMania before getting to this point. I'm really excited. Chris, I know you love some Roman Reigns. You love Bloodline. You love everything to do with it. Who's going to win? How excited are you for this matchup?
All gas, no brakes. All right. Give me Jacob. Let me get that belt off of Roman. He was only good to get the belt off of Phil. That's been accomplished. I don't like Roman. I don't like the bloodline. So give me Fatu. Let him get the Ulu Fala and start a new bloodline so I can hate him then too.
Okay. So Dax, here's what we do. Chris, if he likes the guy, he goes for him. Even though there's no chance, it doesn't matter. Chris is a fan first. We got to get your gimmick here. Now, are you going to be a realist or are you just going to be a fan or a hater? What's going on? Is Roman Reigns going to win or is Fatu going to win?
I'll be rooting for Fatu. I like the werewolf, but I think it'll be Roman Reigns gets it. He's too. I mean, yeah, Rod's right. I mean, it seems like he just doesn't have that upper level to hold that belt, and Roman does. So as much as I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan, is like you just to see the way he commands the entire stadium when he's in that crowd. So, yeah, I think he's going to carry it on.
All right. The match that leads us off, Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker on ESPN2, I believe. Breaker's back. Rollins is back. They're ready to go. Rod, talk to me.
Jimmy, I'm not prepared. Go to Chris first. I'm not prepared. I got to think about what I want to say here.
All right, Chris. Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins. Who do you have winning this? I could
Rollins.
see either one.
Rollins.
You have Rollins.
I got Rollins for a few reasons. One, over the years, Rod has worn me down, and I have now really started to appreciate Rollins as a visionary that he is. All right. So like I see Rollins being more methodical and understanding what needs to be done to beat somebody like Braun Breaker. I also think we have seen a whole lot of Breaker going over on Rollins in the lead up to this, which leads me to believe that Rollins will go over in the match.
Look at you learning. I love that. Good job, buddy. You just hate Breaker. Dax, who you have?
I'm Team Steiner. I'm gonna go for Braun Breaker, buddy. I think he's gonna wipe the floor, old Rod's buddy. It's gonna be fantastic.
Just kicking the man while he's down. His baseball team doesn't exist. His basketball team got beat bad. His boy's going to get destroyed here. And the Colts, don't even get him started about draft picks. Don't even get him started about that. Rod, are you prepared to talk about Rollins and Breaker now that I've ruined you?
I do want to start by saying that I think the young Steiner, a.k.a. Braun Breaker, is a heck of a talent. I think he's got charisma. I think he's proven himself on the mic. I think he's really, really good at some in-ring moves. I don't know that he's a 100% great in-ring worker yet, but he's good at a lot of moves. They look powerful. I buy them. So congratulations to him. And one of the most important stages a wrestler can get in is when you can make somebody. When you're a guy that the WWE can count on to make somebody, you are a trusted hand. And I think, unfortunately, that's where my guy is starting to transition into his career. We're talking going on 42. We're talking lots of different surgeries at this point. We're talking he's trying to make his way as a bit of a guest sports commentator. And how could I fault him for that? I'm trying to make my way as a bit of a sports commentator. But I think where we're at is that Seth is going to wrestle a hell of a match. He's going to pull off a stomp. Breaker's going to kick out of the stomp. People are going to go crazy because guys don't usually kick out of the stomp. Breaker's going to wipe him out with the spear and get over. And I'm going to be really sad about it.
Yeah, I would assume there'd be some interference in there as well. And Isaiah Bird, yeah, Jacob Fatu's brother, Zilla, yeah, it's really contradictory to me to bring in someone else when you've just let go of 3 or 4 people, especially JC Mateo, who wasn't even on for a year, an amazing worker who had, I think, 4 tag team matches. I mean, it's ridiculous wasting that time. And
he probably wrestled Apollo Crews, though, on the main event of that main event show a couple of times. I bet he did.
But Isaiah, really, really appreciate you in there with us there. So 3 out of 4 have Breaker winning. Listen, I think it's going to be a good show, to be a quick show for sure. Another 5-match show. That's what the WWE does. So next week, we'll talk about the results. We'll be back with all of the lottery results, and we're going to talk about that. There might be some yelling and screaming. There might be some crying as well. But with that, you have been listening to the More You Know podcast. Thanks for listening. Chris, take us home.
Hold on, Chris. Chelsea Green, get well, all right? Get well. Glad that they found this thing that's been troubling you for a while. Glad that they got it figured out and that it was minimally invasive, and we'll see you back in the ring soon. I'm excited by that.
Like, comment, and subscribe. You are cursed. Goodbye, Internet.
Wow, LA Knight sitting at home watching the pod saying, excuse me? I'm out now? I don't get booked on TV? I get thrown out of the... This is ridiculous.
Listen. There's some real voodoo going on in the WWE backstages. I don't want any part of it, and I don't want any of it to hit this podcast. So, Danhausen, we're with you.
And Danhausen also figure out how to count money, all right? There was a lot more than $400 human there, my guy.
Right. There's a big difference between 400 and 40,000.
It's also amazing that they're not doing Joe Hendry and Logan Paul at Backlash because they're saving it for SummerSlam, which is terrific for our boy Joe Hendry.
And that video is gold. I got it.
Yeah, fire Logan Paul.